Good evening, good evening. Welcome to Unwind Friday. It's your girl, Lisa Black, bringing you the heat with the little street.
And it's your girl Marie, edifying life coach, bringing you tools you can use.
And we are Sisters Edifying. Good evening, good evening. What is up, guys? I feel like it's been forever since we've seen you all. So, first and foremost, what are you guys unwinding with?
Absolutely. I want to get up, you guys. Could you hold this for me? Because I want to bring our camera a little.
You don't feel like it's like out there.
It is.
Come on in, come into the room, come into the room.
Bring you guys a little closer. Come closer. Come closer. Come closer to us. Yeah, I feel like that's better. Do you feel like that's better?
I feel like that is better.
Yeah.
So come into the room, y'all. All right, so let's talk about what we are unwinding with. Yo, my unwinders, here we say whatever you unwind with is good, honey. Whatever gonna bring you to that chill level, gonna make that week work off of you, like whatever it takes, y'all unwind. So what we are unwinding with, I found a little gem, y'all. I'm gonna hand this back to Marie so I can come up closer to y'all. I did. I'm gonna make you a drink right here on camera, Marie. So I found a little gem
here. I fix myself. Well, go ahead. She'll tell y'all the gem I gotta make.
This is called Licks Cocktail Co. Ladies, if you remember a summer or two ago, the margarita wines was in, honey, and they were hitting. They still hit. So this is like their cousin. So this is 13.9%. Baby, when I tell you it gets the job done, 1 cup. Y'all, we might be late on there tonight. So excuse us in advance. So this one right here is I'm a crazy. This one right here is a strawberry margarita. Let me come in close. Let me hand you this, Marie. Marie getting ready. She getting ready. Because we're going to be turning it up. All right, y'all. This is called Licks Cocktail. You can find it at Walmart. It's 13.9%. This one tastes like all liquor. So we're gonna go easy on that one better. This one, this the baby. This our baby. This is called hard lemonade, but it ain't like hard lemonade. It's like hard lemonade. Like it's 13.9% lemonade.
Like Mike's hard lemonade with a little extra tequila.
With a little extra hard. So, and guys, I got some sugared strawberries and lemon set up. I'm about to make us a drink as we dive into our topic. Okay, this is nice. Marie, extra. She gonna make sure I get
ice. They say I'm anal, I'm bougie, and all this. But when she gets while she get ice, I'm gonna tell you what we're gonna talk about tonight. So our topic tonight is it depression or vitamin D deficiency? So I've been noticing a lot of depression going on, especially with our youth, you guys, especially with minorities, just a lot of extra depression. And people have a misconception, like everything they think is like, it's depression. And so they're going on. I have students, you guys, who are going on these strong medicines, who can't even stay woke for school, and some of these medicines are making them worse, making them suicidal, making them where they can't function and things like that. And so I wanted to bring to the table, because a lot of us minorities, because we have dark skin and we need a lot of melanin. When wintertime comes, especially if we live far from the equator, we lack vitamin D deficiency, you guys. And vitamin D deficiency looks a lot like depression. Oh my goodness, when I go through some of these symptoms with you guys, I really didn't have time to put all the symptoms in that I wanted to put in for you guys, but some of the ones that I did put in for you guys to see, you guys are going to be like, wow, and then I'll just read the rest off to you. But I found out, so every winter, you guys, I would feel like, not just me, but me and my siblings noticed that we felt like really, really depressed. And then we used to try to do, even some of our friends, and we would try to do things. Okay, I want to pause for a minute. Before I get started with this, I would like to say to anybody who's going to communicate with us, which we want y'all to comment with us. So I want you to talk back, so that makes us feel very happy. To accept the StreamYard thing so it can show your name. So when you comment, it don't just say Facebook user, so that we can know who we're talking to, so that we can comment back with you and commune with you. So I don't just be like, hey, Facebook user. But So accept the StreamYard thing. It's not going to take none of your information. It just give them permission to show your name to us. So accept it so that we can see your name and things like that while we get into this conversation. This is a really important conversation, especially for minorities, especially for somebody like me who has like really dark skin. So every winter we used to just feel so down, like so drained, and automatically you like, I'm depressed. So I didn't. You guys, I'm being transparent because this is a place where we can be transparent because I want y'all to be able to be transparent with me. So I have tried many depression medicines to try to help me get out of situations over the years. And then before I decided to do, a holistic way by going to a psychologist and doing like breathing and then becoming a life coach and learning different things myself with, holistic ways of dealing with things. But I'm noticing with our youth that they're dealing with a lot. And it happened right after COVID, and it makes sense. I'm gonna tell y'all why it makes sense. Because we were locked in the house. Even in the summertime, we was locked in the house during that time. So a lot of people like, oh, I'm depressed, and it's depression, not even knowing that they could have a vitamin D deficiency. You guys, I found out that I had a severe vitamin D deficiency. And it makes a difference. Oh, look at that. Melissa got her popping. Oh, you ain't got no strawberries. Yours all cute with strawberries. Where my strawberries? Where my strawberries? Where my strawberries? And y'all see what my cup says? I drink in love. Drinking in love.
You
Because y'all know I am a being of love. So everything that I do, I like to do in love. So you guys, I found out I had a severe vitamin deficiency where I have a prescription. Let me tell you. If you see that, what is it called? Our short. The picture we put up. So I have a prescription for vitamin C, for vitamin D pills, calcium, and all that too. Some little old too, y'all. But I have a severe vitamin deficiency, so I had to get a prescription for it. And all these years, you guys, I thought it's depression. I'm trying to take all these pills. None of these pills are working for me. And then I find out it's vitamin D. I start taking, vitamin D. You can get it from the store. You don't even have to get a prescription. You can get it from the store, but I would say get a blood test so you can know how much you need. Because I needed 2,000 units, which probably most people needed. And some of my stuff I need a lot more. Go ahead.
Some of us don't even think about our vitamin intake. Some of us are very good about it. But yeah, even a multivitamin, I would say not one of those hard horse ones, because most times you're gonna digest it before it even.
It should always be a capsule.
Yeah, you will.
You guys, it should always be a capsule. Never take those hard pills. Your body don't even break those down. You digest those out and poop those out, so you never got anything. You're gonna know if your vitamin is working as soon as after you take your vitamin. When you pee in 30 minutes, your pee is gonna be green. It's gonna be a funny color, and you can smell the minerals from it. So you guys, I was low. The last blood test I did, I was low in vitamin A, severely low in calcium. So I have to take a calcium pill 3 times a day. And calcium pills are big, those who know. And then I was severely low in vitamin D. All of this made me feel, especially vitamin D, y'all, made me feel like I was depressed. Y'all might not even be dealing with depression. Y'all might be dealing with a vitamin D.
And then that's one of the easiest things to treat. At least you know what I mean? If you start doing your vitamin D,
somebody said, wait a minute, how do they accept? It should have been the thing when you at the top that say accept, that a link that you could click on the top of it on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, on YouTube, it doesn't have it. It just shows the name of people who comment on YouTube. But Facebook and all their rules and stuff, on the top of the live you came on, it should have had where you can accept the StreamYard. Go ahead.
Yeah. And a lot of us, like I was saying, we don't even pay attention. We don't know exactly what's going on, because vitamin D deficiency not only mimics depression, but it can be muscle weakness, it can be soreness, where your bones and everything be hurting. You like, man, either something going on here. I'm just so depressed. My body's starting to hurt. My muscles starting to hurt. and it's something that's quickly and easily fixed versus depression. So at least you can rule that out. So if you take your vitamins, liquid vitamins, Maria talking about a good liquid vitamin.
Yeah, like you guys, so like I like to get liquid vitamins because we know that we're going in them so you can get drops. So if you go to the vitamin store, Amazon, you can find everything on there, even calcium, because calcium pills are so big. You can get the liquid calcium. So I ordered the liquid calcium one time. I even said something to my cousin, Fouché, one time. He was like, I'd rather take this than those big pills. But I was cheap this time, so I made them calling me a prescription so my insurance can pay for it. So I've been taking the pills. So it depends on how cheap you want to be during that time.
And but we don't want to say like it's all that vitamin D, because some people do have seasonal depression.
Some people do have depression. But what I want them to do is get a blood test, because they automatically gonna say, they have you do these things when you go to the doctor's office, these little surveys, and they say you're depressed or you're this, you haven't, you this and that. But they'll never know, because the symptoms of depression and vitamin D are so similar. Let's go through it. But before we go through them, I just want to ask you, did you know that vitamin D deficiency leads to both the medical and psychosocial problems? It has a re-emerging as an epidemic that mainly affects the minority community. It mainly affects us because a lot of us are from the sun.
People of the sun.
We're people of the sun. So when we live in a place like Michigan, who literally only had like 1% sun in months, or Chicago, it gets ugly. We haven't had any sun here. So when you live far from the equator in places up north in the west and things like that, a lot of times it's not depression. Oh, wait a minute. I have a comment here.
Another thing, guys, okay. Oh yeah, we gotta discuss us almost look like we dressed like y'all. That was not on purpose.
She said, Ida Offering, which is my auntie from Florida, I love you. I thought I was depressed, but it was my vitamin D. It was so bad it affected my bones. I am now on prescription vitamin D. Yes, and my aunt lives in Florida, so just imagine us who lives up north and up west, right in Michigan, far from the equator, where we're hardly getting no sun. How that could be affecting us.
Absolutely, because vitamin D symptoms include muscle pain, bone pain, tingling sensation in the hands and feet, muscle weakness. So if you having symptoms like that, it definitely, and even like that depression feeling, vitamin D, guys, is so important for us, especially like Marie said, us as melanated people. It's so important for us because we people of the sun. Like that's what we need in order to be the best us. That we
absolutely. I am a summer. That's why I love summer. I feel better in the summer. If you're a person who feels better in the summer, you're probably lacking vitamin D right now, and you're probably because the last, and I didn't even know until I started doing it. And when I take my pills, I feel so good, you guys. So Melissa talked about some of the symptoms. I want to go through some more of the symptoms of having symptoms of vitamin D. So another symptom is mood changes accompanied by overwhelming feelings of hopelessness, sadness, and hopeless. I know y'all say, why she got hopelessness? Because the feeling of hopelessness and being hopeless is two different things. When you get in that state where you feel like you're hopeless, but then now you like, I'm hopeless.
I'm hopeless. It's like it's nothing I can do.
It's two different things. That's why I put that there twice, but I want to make sure I put on it. So tell me that it's not compatible with depression. Fatigue is another symptom of a vitamin D deficiency. Forgetfulness is another symptom of vitamin D deficiency.
Let me go on YouTube.
Listen to this. This happens to me all the time. Loss of interest in activities that previously sparked my excitement. You guys.
Well, that's part of the questionnaire of depression.
That's the questionnaire of depression.
And it's like they got to be able to differentiate.
And not only how they can, Melissa, is through a blood test. Guess what, you guys? Like I said, because I wasn't able to put them all down, suicidal thoughts, anxiety, a loss of appetite, excessive weight loss or gain, trouble sleeping are all signs of a vitamin deficiency. All of these are like identical twins to depression. And so us as minorities, we need to be going to get our blood work done, checking our vitamin levels, because because we know why, because we're in places that we probably wasn't supposed to be living, because of slavery and things like that.
Right. When I think of places we shouldn't be living, shout out to my people in Minnesota, because baby, this must do it. Because every time I see the weather, I be like, I can't believe it. But yeah.
So you guys, I was thinking about it, like I was just sitting because I was feeling so much better on my vitamin D pills, and I was thinking like, that's why I say is it vitamin deficiency or depression? And a lot of our young kids, because it's so many, you guys, because we own a school. I'm in contact with a lot of young adults, and from 2019 until 2003, it is a tremendous difference, and that's not even that many years apart from the young adults that I worked with in 2019 and to the young adults that I'm working with today. They're so depressed, like they write me like they so depressed that I even give out my personal number, which I didn't believe in doing in the past, so that I'm encouraging these youth, and sending them things to uplift them and giving them things to say to the doctors so that they can advocate for themselves when they don't have anybody else to advocate for them. Absolutely. Because automatically they're never going to say, let me test your blood to see if you're low in vitamin D. They never say, let me test your blood to see if you're low in vitamin D, you guys. And that's the truth. They're just going to say, they're going to do that questionnaire, and they're going to say you're depressed, and they're going to put you on all these medicines. Some of these medicines make it worse. They can make you suicidal. They can make it where you can't wake up, make it where you don't have any interest. Now I don't feel like I want to kill myself, but now I feel like I don't want to do absolutely nothing. Now I'm hopeless. Now I ain't got no thoughts of my own at all, because it's being drowned out by this medication. And I do want to, let me make something very, very clear, crystal clear. I am not against psychotherapy medication, depression medication, because I have some that works for me. But if you're taking them and you don't need them, they could work against you. That's what I'm saying. Because you guys, let me tell you something else about vitamin D that I want to say. That is so I am. Low levels of vitamin may contribute to schizophrenia in adults, depression, and seasonal affective disorder. Other health problems that can arise from the deficiency include long bone density, bone softening, and what's going to say, heart disease, rickets in children, which is a bone disease, cancer.
Oh, wow.
These are things that we don't know about unless we educate ourselves. And that's why we're here, to do the research for you and bring it before you. Because a lot of us just go with the trends. And the reality of it is, when we go to hospitals and doctor office, that they don't try to give us the best treatment.
They don't. And that's why you need to advocate for you, and you need to see your children advocate for themselves as well.
And I'm also on vitamins to that. Who is this? Somebody's in there. Is this Mary?
Y'all can see. They up there. He up there Facebook.
Yeah. So whoever this is, tell me.
But y'all, it's so important, because moment of transparency, like Marie said, those pills, if you get the wrong, like it's only vitamin D that's so much easier to treat than it is.
That's so much easier than depression.
Because when you start to treat depression and you get on that medicine, like you said, I remember, like, this might age me a little bit here, but moment of transparency.
Go ahead.
This is when Cymbalta was just coming out. Like, I got the trial pills of it. My doctor was like, hey, try these. This was when my mother was dying. I was a senior in high school. I was 17 years old. Yeah, I was 17 years old. And so I was, obviously, because I lost both parents within a 5-year span. So anyway, my doctor gave me Cymbalta, and I can remember talking to my now husband on the phone. He's my boyfriend then, and he's like, how you feel? Like, what's going on? I'm like, man, I can't feel nothing. Like, I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing, but it has numbed everything. Like, I don't know how I feel. So if it's something can be so simple as treating treating
vitamin
a
deficiency.
vitamin, taking a vitamin versus going through the whole treatment of depression. Because I really don't even know if it's a treatment more than it's just a band-aid to get you to the next
Trying to
step.
find out the right, because this is a safe place on my Friday, and a place where we can be transparent about these things. You guys, when I began, from the time I was younger, my family, especially my big sister Mary, she knows that from the time I was younger, I never had no interest. I just want to lay around and sleep, and to think like all my life I could have just had a vitamin deficiency where it was difficult for me to absorb vitamin D. And because I wasn't a kid that went outside a lot, it was most likely that I did have one because I wasn't in the sun.
And you know what's so interesting? I can remember being little having the Flintstone vitamins. I know how we always talk about like we said, like we sisters, same mom, same dad, but live different lives in a sense. And I can remember mom having us the Flintstone vitamins.
We had to put some vitamins too, and then one day me and all my cousins, we ate them all, and they had to force us to pour it up. And back in the day, they had iron in them. They don't put iron in the multivitamins anymore, but for that very reason. But they had them in them and stuff like that. But when I got a tell, when we was little, they gave us, when we got like preteens and stuff, they wasn't giving us vitamins. Now, when we was little, they did have vitamins for us. I do remember that. But you guys, I have been on Pactel. I have been on and this is a funny story right here. What is it, Sarah?
Oh, and why you think like I never done it because I never finished my story. But yeah. So let me tell you what my friend bought to y'all. The first day, when I tell y'all everything was magnified, oh my gosh, the first day was like, oh my God, my skin is brown, the door is white, this has happened. Like I was bawling about everything before it numbed everything. So then when I had a sister and she had got through a different stage of her life and she was like, Melissa, do you still got some of the stem balls? Like, give me some of it. I'm like, girl, you do not want that. It's gonna magnify everything first before it numbs you. So yeah, I was like, oh, I was just crying my eyes out.
So I think it's called serotonin.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys, I went through like this stage where I didn't know I couldn't sleep, nothing, and I was just so sad and depressed, and I don't know why. And it was shortly, it was probably a year after my mother had passed. And Melissa sent me to the crazy house, y'all. Like, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, she like, no, she got me locked on a 72-hour crazy house visit.
You know, that's the time when you know that you can't help baby. She needed.
I never trusted again. I never trusted again.
Hey, she learned one thing. She wasn't crazy.
I did know that, and I learned. And I got in an argument with the chef because the meat was raw, and she tried to tell me it wasn't. And I'm like, I'm not one of them. You know what I'm saying? I know.
Like, I'm crazy.
This is raw.
She found
And my cousin was crazy. He used to be calling me to talk to me, cussing people out on the phone. The big booty dark one, put her on the phone.
Yo, when you found the
oh no, I ain't found the dumpster.
Yo, Marie called me and baby, the description she gave me, I knew it was nothing I could do for her. It was time to call in the professional.
Yeah,
you gotta know your limits, baby.
So y'all put me on serotonin.
It's not serotonin. It was something else. The serotonin is a chemical that your brain produces.
Okay, yeah, they should. And it has serotonin in it, though. Wait a minute. I need some. It's called. It's not.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I think it's called. It is similar to that. But it's a roaster. It's Sarah roaster. It's a roaster. Something like that. I can't think what it's called. I know what you're talking about. But y'all, let me tell y'all, baby, you got to know you. You got to know your lane. You got to know what you can do and what you cannot do. When she called me for the help that she needed, baby, I knew it was nothing I could do. I was not even in the space I am in now, so I knew I could not help her. I said, you know what? Did I come and get you? Or did I take you to TV? I came. Very good. So I came and picked her up. I gave her a ride right on
all my trust away.
I gave her right on the ride to people who can help her.
What is it?
Sarah, I know what you're saying. But yeah, so I gave her a ride, y'all. After baby got done talking, she got herself 72 hours. I got her where she needed to be. But after she told them what she told me, I said, be honest with them. Tell them everything. Be honest with them. Tell them everything you told me. And when she got done, they said, yeah, baby. I think you should stay. I said, well, I gave her the church hand. It's time for me to head out.
She said she been there too, brother.
See, you need somebody like me to take you where you need to go.
Melatonin is a natural vitamin
That helps sleep.
That helps you sleep. That wouldn't work. Ew.
I know what it's called. Let me find it because I know what it's called. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I have to find the name. It's gonna drive me crazy.
All right, well, move on while I find it for you. How about that?
All right, I'm gonna move on, you guys. So, like I said, that vitamin deficiency can cause schizophrenia and all of that, which no doctor has ever told us this. And in my family, we've been dealing with a lot of family members who've been dealing with some mental disorders that probably could just be from a lack of vitamin deficiency, that we probably need to do a blood test and get on vitamin minerals that we can order ourselves, So it's just so crazy that it's so one way to treat vitamin D deficiency is the natural way is being in the sun. In Michigan, I don't have that opportunity right now.
So is it sertraline or is it is it
none of those to help with sleep? Put to help with sleep. It'll come up. But because one of my students is on it, because they told me the name, and I was like, oh, I remember that, because you guys, I am even transparent with my students, because me being transparent with our students help them overcome certain things.
Yeah, it's that one.
So
what's the name of it was sertraline.
It's not that. I promise you, it's not. When you do the name, it's not that. I promise, because one of my students just said the name of it too. I think she might have sent me a list of the stuff she on too. If I check my
Tylenol.
It sounds like Sarah is.
I think it was like a Sarasota or something like that.
But anyway, they put me when Melissa got me locked in the crazy house, because I'm gonna blame it on her. When she got locked in the crazy house, they put me on this medicine that started with an S, y'all. The dose was so high, my doctor was mad like it can knock out a horse. And y'all, this woman, now she mentally ill too, because a tornado happened when I was on the medicine, and her husband, they live in an upstairs apartment, right? And so they come over to my house for safety to go to my basement from their house, and because I had to force myself woke because I was on the medicine, it was so strong, my eyes was bugged. So I opened the door for them to let them in, and they look at me and say, well, we just gonna go to the next family house. Like it was so wrong for me.
Let me tell y'all, this lady came to the door. When I tell you her eyes was fucked, her hair was all over her head, and she tried to open the door. Baby, I take my chance with the tornado because ain't no way I'm coming inside there. I don't know what you capable of. Me and my husband left. We like, hey, we all said, praise God, we will see you next door. We didn't come in. And then I forgot all about, it's funny how you can forget things. I forgot all about we had. She came to the door, y'all. She had a robe on. Girl, baby hair sticking straight up, eyes bucked. Yeah. She like, I'm like, did you know it was a store? Do you know about the Lord Jesus Christ?
Yeah, that's one I can never trust.
No, but look now, y'all. I was not coming inside. We said, yeah, we take our chances with the tornado.
But anyway, as we get into our time, We hope you enjoyed this story and us being transparent, and we hope that you feel comfortable transparent. Get your vitamin T, just your vitamin D levels checked, and you have to get that done through blood work. Get, get all your levels checked, because when I got my levels checked, because I would try to grow my nails and my nails would break. When I said I found out like I'm severely low in calcium, and I'm lactose intolerant, so I can't drink milk and things like that. So I have to take like 3 big calcium pills 3 times a day, and then I have to take vitamin A pills. And when you guys y'all research the vitamins, how important they are to our bodies, you guys. So it's so important to know, like we gave y'all how important that vitamin D is.
Absolutely, and all the things that it can affect. So so the question is, am I depressed or am I vitamin D deficient? And that is such a very important question, because
so when you go to the doctor and they have you do the survey and they say you depressed, you stop and say, doctor, am I depressed or am I vitamin D deficient, being a minority? Because as a minority is a very high chance that you have a vitamin D deficiency. So so treating vitamin D deficiency, you guys want to increase your sun exposure. For some of us who can increase our sun exposure here, they have sunlight that we can do. You can get the pills, like I'm on the pills. Food. You want to increase your intake of food that is high in vitamin D. We don't have enough time to give you the names of the food, but you can research that for yourself. Foods that are high in vitamin D. Preventing vitamin D deficiency is just making sure that you're eating food that's rich in vitamin C. Even in the winter time, if you can be in the sun, if you could get you a sunlight, which costs about $30 on Amazon,
or so the below store.
No, you might not get no sun from that. Might just be a light.
Radiation.
Light, you be light or something. It's gonna kill some germs or something on you. But you want to make sure that you read and you hear good things about it, that you know. And even when the sun comes out in the wintertime, sometimes I sit in my car and I pull back the lid on the sunroof and let the sun absorb into my skin. Because it's important, because it's crazy that, you know, my vanilla sisters and brothers, they sunbathe, baby, but we don't. Because we feel like we don't, but we need to sunbathe more than they do, because of the melanin in our skin, and because we are sunbathers. So we're actually the ones that should be out sunbathing. So
but
you guys,
please protect your skin, guys.
Thank you for joining us. And remember, what did you say, Melissa? When you go to the doctor and you feeling depressed and they have you take that depression survey, you say, doctor, am I depressed or am I vitamin D deficient?
Absolutely.
And then get a blood test. Request, they have to. Remember, you don't work for the doctors work for you.
It is so important. When you go in with that mindset that you work for me, oh baby, the whole dynamic change. When I hit mindset that today. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us for Unwind Friday. If you have a topic or something you want to discuss, please drop it in the comments or inbox Marie or myself. We will do the research for you and bring it before you. My wine kicked in, y'all.
Thank you for joining
us. But thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next weekend. Thank you. She gonna talk about me later.